Radio Rahim here with Freddie Roach at none other than Wildcard Boxing Gym in Hollywood, California, where legends are made. Now, I chose this spot right here, Freddie, because you've wrapped so many champions' hands here. So many legends have come across this little wooden bar right here, and you have more championship fights on the horizon. I'm going to start with Latif Kayode, who's here today, and the grudge match, essentially, that he's begun with Tarver coming up. First of all, I think early in his career, you even maybe was critical of some of his technical skills and improvements that he needed to make. He's clearly very sensitive about criticism. First, how did you work with him in that regard? How are you able to improve a guy who's so sensitive about taking criticism?
Well, when he takes criticism from me, is a lot different than Antonio Tarver. I'm his trainer, and Tarver is just an opponent. So Tarver's just trying to get in his head and under his skin and so forth. I'm trying to help him, and he knows that. And like that one bad fight we did have, I remember he told me, well, I won. And I said, you're satisfied with winning that fight? And he said yes, and then when the press left, I blasted him and told him what I really thought about his performance, and he said, I'm sorry, because he knows I'm telling the truth, and he knows that I'm very honest with my fighters, and he can't. I told him, you can't be satisfied with that, because if you're satisfied with that, you'll never get better. So he said, I'm sorry, I'm going to work harder, and he's been doing that. He's been getting better and better. He's mentally a little stronger, I feel, at least with his sparring partners. He's fighting the right game plan, fighting the right technique to beat this guy. And, will he get a little excited with Tarver? Probably, but I'm going to try to keep that to a limit and just not fight a dumb fight and fight a smart fight to win the fight.
Now, you've been around, Tarver's been around. Latif is somewhat new to the game. You know that you've got a youth on your side. You know that you've got conditioning on your side. But Tarver has experience, and and he's crafty. He's good. What do you do to combat the skill level with using the energy and conditioning? Well,
yeah, plus and minuses, of course. The thing is, make this guy fight 3 minutes of every round. Will he last? Probably not. But the thing is, can we do that smartly, though? Yes, we can. But we got to fight a very, very disciplined fight. Is he capable of that? In the gym so far, yes. In fights, no. He hasn't been capable of that yet because he gets too excited. So there's fine line back. That's why this is a compelling fight, because we don't know who's going to show up. By both guys.
Right. Now, he thinks that not only is he going to show up, but he's going to show up and knock the guy out within 5 rounds and maybe cripple him, is what he just said. Now, you tend to be a straight shooter when it comes to analyzing fights. What do you think Tarver's advantages are here?
Well, experience is his biggest advantage, of course, but can we take that away from him by pushing him and making him tired and making him fight 3 minutes of every round, and go to him with smart pressure and not just reckless pressure. So I think that we can take his advantage away easier than he can take ours away, I feel. So the thing is, we force a fight, we smart pressure, and make him fight every minute of every round. He won't last.
You've also been, criticized and, appreciated for letting fighters know when you thought that maybe it was time for them to hang it up. Maybe, they're finally past it, can't pull the trigger anymore. Now, Tarver is coming off a big win against Green, but we've seen him in the gym getting ready for this fight. We've seen the condition he started in. Do you think that he still has fight left in him?
Well, coming off his last fight, he must. Because he stopped Green like 11 rounds, something like this. If he didn't have any fight in him, he probably would have quit before that point. So yeah, he's still dangerous. He can still fight. he can't fight like he could when he beat Roy Jones and stuff like that. But but he's still a crafty guy, and he has a little bit of power with that big overhand left, and he's a little bit long with that though. And I think we have an answer for that. So I think we're okay.
Now, what I would love to have been able to talk about here was the rematch with what happened last weekend with, Amir Khan and Lamont Peterson. But we all know that that conversation can't be had because that fight wasn't had. I'd just like to get your thoughts on how that fight fell apart as far as the drug testing goes and whatnot. Do you feel that, first of all, Peterson cheated in the first fight, that fight is even legitimate, and secondly, that this really validates what Amir Khan had been saying all along, that he was robbed?
Well, he said he took it before that fight and so forth, the same supplement. Lamont Peterson and Barry Hunter are really nice guys, and I'm not going to call them cheaters or anything like that yet, because I think a lot needs to be clarified of what was in his system. I think the answer is this, because Berto seems like a real nice guy and doesn't seem like a cheater either. But people will do anything to win in life, I guess. But the thing is, I think fighters have to be more aware of what they put in their body, because with all the new strange stuff out there and protein powders and so forth. Is there traces of steroids in those? Some, yes, that you can buy legally or without a prescription and so forth. So I think we should be very, very careful what we put in our body. We should be knowledgeable about what we put in our body, so we know it's above board and not illegal. Because I don't think they did it on purpose, but I don't think so. But part of me says, well, people will do anything to win, though. So.
Now, there's one guy that's sitting back right now saying, I told you so. There's one guy that is going to want to take credit for cleaning up the sport and exposing people who are either cheating or at least, working outside the rules. Do you feel that it is at least given in that argument some credibility with these recent drug tests positive?
It does give it credibility, yes. I mean, because only they know if they were cheating for real. Well, so, but my opinion on that is, if you have to cheat, it's not worth it. I mean, if you have to cheat, to go fucking do something else.
Would you have taken, if it was up to you, would you have let Khan fight Peterson after the positive test?
Sure.
All right. Now, the fight.
We're ready to knock him out. It's just. I mean, we had a great game plan and we had a great training camp, and we knew the mistakes we made in the first fight, and we were taking them away. Yeah. I hope the fight would happen anyway, but that's out of our control.
Now, this one question never seems to be settled, although I've gotten the same answer at least the past 3 or 4 times I've asked, but I will ask again. With all this said, has Pacquiao, in fact, agreed to the random style drug testing that Mayweather was requested?
He's agreed to that a long time ago. I mean, we agreed to that in the second negotiation, which was maybe 2 years ago. So that's never been an issue. I think the biggest issue why that fight won't happen lately is he wants a 70-30 split of something of that nature. And some people say that he deserves it because he draws bigger pay-per-view audiences, but I find that hard to believe, and that fight will only happen at 50-50.
Now, with both fighters, Pacquiao and Mayweather, their recent performances, I know you don't feel that, I think you've been asked this before, that Pacquiao had diminished skills. You felt that it was attributed to the training camp and maybe the focus, but a lot of boxing analysts say, all right, Floyd's getting older, he's looking human, Pacquiao is looking human, he's, his skills are maybe diminishing due to age or lack of focus. Do you think that that perception, anyway, brings that fight closer, or makes it even less likely to happen?
I don't really think it has an effect on that fight. I think if we get Mayweather on a good day, he'll say yes. I mean, the thing is, he's a little, he's kind of like all over the place sometimes, you know. He's here, he's there. I think the fight's going to happen, and I think so.
Well, he's not going to be that soon because he's got to do this jail stint first.
He's not going to jail. Give me day camp.
So coming out of day camp,
he'll have HBO.
as you put it. Another thing that is huge in the fight game is knowing when to fight and who to fight when. So with what we saw, first of all, let me ask you, do you think Floyd's skills are diminishing with what you saw in the Cotto fight?
I only saw a little bit of that fight because I was on the airplane coming home, so I did see bits and pieces of it. I thought Cotto did a tremendous job, a lot better than I thought he would. But I think a lot of that has to do with Floyd's movement. He doesn't have the movement he once had. I think his legs are a little shot, and I think I don't think it's a choice to fight. I think he has to fight at this point because his legs can't move like they used to. And I know Teddy Atlas disagree with me, but I disagree with Teddy because Teddy said he's never been a mover, but he has been a mover in his life, past performances earlier in life and so forth. And I just feel that he doesn't have the movement that he once had, and that would make the fight that much easier for us.
So if it came down to it, let's say it's your, I realize that there's a lot of people here that have to say yes, but if it was up to you, just to get the fight done and to prove what you believe, that Manny Pacquiao not only will beat Mayweather but knock him out, would you take a lesser cut? 70-30 is absurd, but you know, would you take a lesser cut, 60-40?
No. Why? I mean, the thing is, there's been an offer made, both guys get 45-45 and the winner gets the rest. Let's do that. If you're so confident in yourself, both guys are confident guys, well, that's legit. But
okay, well, there's one fight that actually is happening, and it's happening pretty soon. It's Pacquiao and Bradley. Obviously, you've just gotten back recently on May 5th from the Philippines. Can you talk to me about how that camp went as opposed to other camps in the Philippines where you did say that the focus wasn't all there?
No, he ain't good focus in this fight, and the thing is, man, he's got rid of a lot of distractions in his life, and he has one distraction now that really, I don't think it really is a taxing distraction. I don't think praying and reading the Bible is really hard work. So, but he's really into it, and he enjoys it, and him and his wife are getting along well. He's being a better husband, a better family man, and just a better guy all around.
That is something that the fight fans have definitely taken note of and been curious about. How has his newfound commitment to faith affected your relationship with him?
We have this great relationship as always. We've always respected each other. We've always had a lot of love for each other. So it hasn't affected our relationship at all.
Bradley says, and we see that he is a focused guy. He does train hard. He claims that he never quits. Now, you could say the same for Pacquiao, but Pacquiao has all the different distractions that Bradley at this point doesn't have to deal with just due to the fame and the success, and there's so much pressure on him. Do you think that any of that comes into play outside of what may happen, technically in the ring, mentally? Are you at all concerned that a split-focused Pacquiao could lose to a very focused Bradley?
I don't see his focus being split at all. The thing is, I mean, he's in love with the Bible right now, and he doesn't gamble, he doesn't drink, he doesn't go out late anymore, he doesn't play basketball anymore. He gave up darts. I asked him, well, why'd you give up basketball? I said, basketball, you love basketball. It's your favorite sport. He says, you know what? I think maybe I was doing too much because I run in the morning, I work out really hard in the afternoon, and then I play basketball for like 5 hours. And it was like the best answer he ever gave me. Like, you finally realize that you're doing too much. It wasn't like religious or gambling or anything like that. He gave me a straight answer, and I said, Manny, you've really grown up. I mean, he gave me a very good, solid answer. And I was very, you finally saw that, the leg cramps come from somewhere. They always show up in the fight. Overusage is always going to show up in the fight. So now he completely cut that out of his system. He didn't just quit these things. He gave them away. He didn't sell them. He didn't sell his cock farm. He gave it away. He didn't sell his casino. He gave it away. He gave his nightclub away. He just completely gave it to the partners he had and said, I want no part of it. So he's really made a lot of good changes in his life. I can't see where these changes are going to hurt us. And his work ethic is the same as it's always been.
I wonder if because of what happened with the Marquez fight, and neither one of you were satisfied with the performance, like you mentioned with Coyote. Okay, you got the win, but you weren't satisfied with the performance. Does this fight present for him an opportunity to somewhat bring his own confidence back, his own ability to, like, I guess, put his chin up and say, hey, you know what, I learned from that and I'm better?
Yes, to redeem himself. I mean, he knows that this is a fight that he doesn't have to have a knockout, but he has to have a good performance, and I feel he knows that, because he's really, really bothered by people saying that he's all done. And he asked me, am I all done? I said, well, your last fight wasn't that great. I said, but you know, a lot happened in the last week of training camp, and so the way he's working now, and his work ethic, and the way he's working, I'll say no, he's not slipping at all. And I told him I'd be the first one to tell him, and I said, when I tell you you're slipping, will you retire? And he said, of course I will. So that hasn't happened yet, but you know, you really can't really tell until the fight comes. But I expect the Bradley fight to be Manny's best fight yet. I think you're going to see like the old Manny Pacquiao, and that's why I say he's not going to last much longer than Hatton did.
Yeah, he loves hearing that. He loves hearing that. I'm sure he'll be happy to have heard it again. Now,
the thing is, I have nothing against Timothy Bradley, against anybody. I just have confidence in my fighter, and his work ethic and the way he works. I'm sure he has confidence in himself, and I'm sure his dad has confidence in him, in his guy. I mean, that's the way it goes. You know, the thing is, I don't dislike anybody.
Now, in a perfect world, Pacquiao beats Bradley, perfect for boxing fans anyway. Bradley loses, Mayweather gets out of jail, or as you call it, daycare, and they fight towards the end of the year. Now, Pacquiao's shown that he has power at all these weight divisions, been able to stop guys at 154. We saw Mayweather struggle a little bit with the power at 154. In a perfect world, this fight happens. What do you think is the ideal weight to fight Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather?
I think that we want 47, he wants 54, we'd have to fight at 50. I think catch weight would be fair, it's like 50-50 is fair, negotiate it. 50, he wants a little higher weight, we're going to give up a little there. It's a little bit give and take in negotiations, so I just hope the fight gets made.
I'm surprised a little bit that you want a lower weight. He wants a higher weight. Why do you want 147?
Man, he walks around at 138. He came into camp at 138 for this fight. He weighed 146 and a half yesterday.
So you don't think he has more power than Mayweather at 154? If they were to fight 154, it seems that Manny would have the power advantage.
No, he's a little bit too big. When he's over a certain weight, he gets a little sluggish and he slows down a little bit. That's too much weight for Manny Pacquiao. If we fought at 154, we'd come into the ring at 147.
Okay, you've heard everything that you could possibly want to know from Freddie Roach today. Freddie, as always, it's an honor and pleasure to be here at Wildcard Boxing Gym, Radio Rahim, with the legendary Freddie Roach.